We got some news to get into today, boys, and it's a doozy. We got some things to talk about when it comes to the Race to World first, some interesting in-game changes, and BlizzCon news. That's right, we got some BlizzCon updates, both from Blizzard and from the rumor mill after the Blizzard comments. So let's just dive straight in. Here we go, boys. The Coiled Altar Showdown. That's right, the Race to World first continues, and it's a three-party show. Echo, Liquid, and Method are now progressing on the Coiled Altar. And this boss fight has proven to be very difficult, especially Phase 3 turns out to be one of the most difficult phases these teams have ever seen. Currently, we have Echo and Liquid progressing on Phase 3, while Method is just getting started on the boss overall. You look beyond that, really, everyone's kind of bundled up at the 5 of 8 marker, and then we got some 4 of 8 guilds down here. But yes, it's a 3-man pony race, and Blizzard has taken notice. So they've actually nerfed the mythic Coiled Altar fight. As of now, I don't think any of these guilds have made a pull since this nerf just went live, but the Veiled Twilight Shield has been reduced by 20%. Malacrose's bonus health in Phase 3 has been reduced to 19%, was 35. Zul'Jan's bonus health in Phase 3 has been reduced to 156%, was 160. Spiteful Soul Coiled health reduced, and Mass Dread March happens less frequently. So there you go, multiple nerfs to the boss. Phase 2 actually turns out to be the most difficult phase, it looks like, of this fight. But we'll see which guild gets past this and finally starts progression on the final boss. That's right, the final boss of the Race to World first for this season should be a doozy for sure. Moving on, Vashnik, LFR raid, and so much more. We got changes not only for Mythic Raid, but for the layman's people, right? For the people's people. We got changes happening in the game for them too as well. For collectors specifically, the Wraith mount size have been made more consistent. We also see for raiders, nerfs to Vashnik on LFR difficulty, and then for Zul'Jan, he no longer bugs out if he hits 1% HP at 1 HP at the end of intermission. I guess he was bugging out. People got him down to basically no health. And then for everyday players, the contract Zul'Jara's Forces now applies to the entire warband correctly. So those are the changes that went live in a quick hotfix just yesterday. Moving on. Bonus rolls can no longer be used on content that you've already looted, guys. Turns out that bonus rolls, and this was actually a thing last season, where you could go back into a raid if you had a bonus roll, and even though you've already killed everything and looted everything that week, you were able to still go in and do another bonus roll. So basically, you could, if you got enough bonus rolls, you could just infinite grind a raid. Well, Blizzard doesn't want that happening anymore, especially with the kind of higher loot level that now bonus rolls apply to, whereas previously it was like you're doing heroic raid, you're going to get heroic gear. Now people can go into heroic raid and double, triple bonus roll on that shit and get 2 or 3 pieces of Mythtrack gear from the raid in a single week. So Blizzard's actually changing that. They said with the scheduled weekly maintenance this week on September 1st, I should say next week, they are planning to implement a change to raid loot. Bonus rolls can only be used on encounters where the player is eligible to receive loot from that encounter. So that's how that's going to work there. Sam never encountered any of these bugs on LFR. He hasn't beaten the first boss yet. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know why I picked that to read out of chat today. But anyways, this means in each difficulty, you can only do everything once. You can only roll your bonus loot one time every single week, just like you can only loot the bosses one time every single week. So while it was nice that it kind of incentivized people to continue to run the raid over and over, and maybe form up groups, which made groups getting easier, or I should say group formation easier. This does make sense that, yeah, going and double dipping, triple dipping into Mythtrack gear every single week might not be a good option because people just will gear out very quickly. Moving on. Best in Region Mythic Plus titles are back. That's right, for Season 2. If you didn't know, in Season 1, there were these weekly titles that were offered up based on the reset and who had the highest key run in each of these dungeons. So if you had the highest Temple of Sithralis that week, you actually got a title that was your name, and then the Wrath of Sithralis. That title was carried for a week, and then the weekly reset would hit, and then the next person who was up would get it. Or you could retake the title if you continue to be the highest run. So these weekly titles and achievements will continue throughout Season 2. They are now available once again, and here are the titles themselves. If anyone has them, you see them walking around, you know you're looking at a badass. They're the biggest one in the region, so these are cool, and these are back for Season 2. Moving on to Jimothy. That's right, the short-spined raccoon. If you don't know, this guy was a viral sensation. He came out of Australia. He's the short-spined raccoon, so he has like a hunch and everything, has a funny gait to his walk and everything. Anyways, Blizzard actually put him in the game as a pet, and now the Secret Finding Discord has figured out how exactly you're going to get him, and I'm going to tell you that right now. So, Jimothy is now available. To start, you'll need to find him inside of Silvermoon City. Basically, you need to go to one of these 3 locations. You can see these coordinates right here. Once you find him, you'll see him floating inside of a little bubble called the Encelled Cryptid. You click on that bubble, it's a little barrier, and it starts to channel something. There's 100 stacks that need to be channeled up, and basically every couple seconds, a little swirly boy will shoot out and land under you. You need to move away from that thing. If you get hit with the swirly boy, it'll stop your cast. You can do this in a group, and it'll actually make the entire thing happen more quickly, but once you've actually dispelled the entire bubble, gotten all 100 stacks, the bubble will go away, Jimothy will become available to grab with the stubby whistle, and you will unlock, yes, Jimothy. That's right, the stubby little raccoon boy himself. Sam, shut the fuck up, don't tell me what to do. I'm going to tell you what to do. Go get Jimothy right now. Right now. And this is how you do it. If you have any questions, I'll link this in the chat and down below. Of course, you guys can follow the coordinates and everything. Wet. I'm wet. Good. Good, you should be. This is the content we've been asking for. Speaking of content, there's going to be a lot of it at BlizzCon, and we are getting straight into it, boys. It's a deep dive into some BlizzCon rumors and confirmations from Blizzard themselves. First of all, WoW Armory has been updated. That's right. The WoW Armory has been updated to now include Classic Era characters. This is a new thing. If you didn't know, the WoW Armory was actually not including Classic characters ever since the Classics kicked off. And Blizzard actually had a reason for this. They talked about it in an interview once where in a Q&A, people asked, would we ever get Armory for WoW Classic? And they said there was no Armory back in World of Warcraft original WoW until Burning Crusade. Back when you wanted to see what a player was wearing, you actually had to meet them up in the world, inspect them, and look at what they were wearing. Well, Blizzard seems to have backtracked a little bit on that in preparation for Classic Plus. Now the WoW Armory website includes every single Classic era. So we're talking all of the classics, Burning Crusade Classic, Mist Classic, World of Warcraft Classic era, and retail, of course. So now you can WoW Armory, all the players on Classic. This makes sense in preparation for Classic Plus. I'm sure WoW Armory would be something that people would want to be able to see. So there you go. This will be available, and again, this seems like more preparation for the big announcement at BlizzCon of Classic Plus. And let's talk a little bit about BlizzCon. Blizzard reveals more details about what to expect from BlizzCon. That's right, in an interview with Cybear, Ian Hazzikostas and Paul Cubitt talked a little bit about what BlizzCon is going to bring. This interview just happened yesterday, and what we can expect specifically for World of Warcraft. Blizzard has confirmed in the interview that 12.1.5 will be testable on the PTR before BlizzCon. Patch 12.1.7, there will be more details to be shared about what we can expect in this patch at BlizzCon. 12.2, they'll be looking further in the future at what's to come in the next cycle of patches, and then beyond 12.2, maybe some Last Titan content or finishing out a Midnight content. The team also plans to discuss long-term future retail WoW plans. That's right, and we've been expecting this. I do expect us to kind of get a preview of whatever is the finale or grand finale of Midnight, and maybe even a cinematic reveal of The Last Titan. Just something short, potentially. If you guys remember, we had a cinematic reveal at one point for Legion, where like Gul'dan was walking through a cave, and then he like did some kind of summoning thing on a green crystal, and then you saw the tattoos of Illidan light up, and that was like a big reveal for Legion. It was not the Broken Shore cinematic, but it was like a shorter, like, teaser cinematic. I think we could get something like that for The Last Titan at BlizzCon, and I'm expecting that this is another hint here that we're looking beyond Midnight into what's to come after. I'll show you my Titan. All right, the chat's getting a little bit wild today, I'm not going to lie. But that's basically what's going on. Ian also said it's going to be an amazing BlizzCon for Warcraft fans, and all will be revealed soon. So there you go. Those are the hints from Ian. Now, we also had another thing come out about BlizzCon after the interview, and this was from a very, very reliable source, guys. It's a 4chan image on Reddit. That's right. Probably one of the most reliable things you can lean on in life is a 4chan image uploaded to Reddit. But we're going to look at this image, break it down, and discuss whether or not we think this thing is actually true. What's going on, Tech Tim? First of all, 11 a.m., we have the opening ceremony on September 12th. This is the start of BlizzCon, followed by a 1:30 p.m. StarCraft Infantry deep dive. That's right. This is probably that first-person shooter, third-person shooter that everyone's been talking about that is going to be revealed at BlizzCon most likely. People are excited about it. Yes, it could be something like a Gears of War style game, but in the StarCraft universe. I think it'll be pretty damn popular when it comes out. So that's the 1:30. Then at 2:45, we have World of Warcraft Exploring Northrend. So after the opening ceremony, which probably will have the reveal of, whatever's to come, maybe a Last Titan thing, Exploring Northrend definitely sounds like a Last Titan-esque thing, right? This is the Last Titan. Northrend is where we're going to. So an Exploring Northrend definitely could be something where they reveal, what they're doing with Northrend in terms of revamping. I'm sure it's going to get some kind of Silver Moon, Upper Eastern Kingdoms, treatment in terms of redoing the zones and everything else. So that's what that could be. At 3:45, we have Diablo 4. What's next? Nothing too exciting there. At 4:45, Warcraft Fables, a deep dive. Now, what is Warcraft Fables? Some people are speculating on the Reddit 4chan that this could be Classic Plus. They could be calling it Warcraft Fables. Again, guys, Classic Plus, if you don't know, is a community-given name. Blizzard has never introduced World of Warcraft Classic as a Classic Plus. When's the orgy? That is scheduled after 4:45. So people will be dripping wet after the Classic Plus announcement, no doubt. So probably I would assume the orgy would be scheduled for 5:45. But anyways, Warcraft Fables is supposed to be potentially the Classic Plus name. Again, Camelot is the code name internally at Blizzard. Classic Plus is the name that the community has given the game, but nobody really knows what it's called yet. So it could be Warcraft Fables. Now, Warcraft Fables could also be a show. It could be, some kind of series that they're dropping. Remember, there was that big leak about all the stuff coming for the Warcraft IP, and yes, there are shows and stuff in the works. So maybe Warcraft Fables is that Arthas Menethil show that we heard about, maybe. We'll have to see. But anyways, that would close out the first day. And then we have 12:30 Overwatch. What's next? I don't know what's next for Overwatch, but that would be there. And then at 1:30, Warcraft Chronicles Meet the Team. So again, another thing that maybe could be related to a Warcraft RTS. People have talked about that, maybe we're getting another RTS, and that's what Warcraft Chronicles could be. There's also rumors out there that this could be the show, the Netflix series, HBO series, whatever you want to say, whatever channel they decide to put this series on. It has been talked about, or it could be, a movie or something, God knows. But it's another IP from World of Warcraft. Followed by a 2:30 StarCraft Infantry, World and Lore. That goes back to the announcement of this first-person shooter. And then 3:30 Hearthstone Fireside Chat. So there you go. That's your schedule. Is it real? Now, the article goes on to talk about, one thing that you'll notice very quickly about this whole schedule is it real? Well, it does kind of base itself off of all of the rumors. It almost confirms every single rumor out there in the community right now. And it's almost too good to be true, right? Like, we basically already know everything because this has all been talked about out in the community, and it looks like somebody just took all the community rumors, put it all together, and said, hey, look, guys, I got the schedule. Is it going to happen? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The Scourge is back, potentially. I mean, we'll have to see what happens with the Scourge going forward. I'll see if this actually ends up being a real thing. We'll go back to this and look at it. And we'll have to make a determination after that. Looking at the previous schedules that have been released, typically when the actual schedule is released, back at the last BlizzCon in 2023, the schedule was released, 2 weeks before? The official site still says coming soon on the current schedule. Blizzard published a 2023 schedule 1 week before BlizzCon previously. So looking at this was like what the previous one looked like. Every hour something was happening. So this does align with what this guy did here. 1:30 and then 2:45, 3:45, 4:45. On the hour, the next day, everything keeps happening. So it does kind of line up with the typical times. Blizzard usually has a 30 or 45 here in terms of start times and stuff like that. I don't know if that's really credible. But we will get the official schedule probably 1 week out, which is very soon, actually. We're about, 2 weeks out from the actual BlizzCon? BlizzCon's September 12th. So, yeah, we got probably next week. End of next week, we could get the official schedule. But for now, this is what we have. This is what we're going off. We do have the official stuff from Ian, the unofficial stuff from the 4chan Reddit leaks, and whatever the hell else your mind can drum up. That is it in terms of news for today. We looked at all these things. We'll continue to update you. Hey, Race to World First could get spicy this weekend, and we'll talk more about it on Monday. But for today, that is all in terms of news.